As we are going into calculation of break-even point and break-even analysis, I think it is good that we know those things that are important and fundamental in the calculation, so we introduce ourselves now to the basics of calculating break-even analysis and break-even point. We will equally talk about the two methods of calculating the break-even points, and also we will discuss margin of safety. This is GJAMES Associate Channel, and my name is Gbenga Olatunji FCA. Also in this video, I'm going to tell us what I've not been telling us and make a shout out also to some group of people. So break-even analysis, what we need to know. First of all, the CVP analysis can be used to calculate a break-even point of sales. Cost volume profits analysis can be used to calculate a break-even point of sales. And break-even point is the volume of sales required in a period of time that we need to make neither profit or loss. So at break-even point, what we are saying is there will not be profit and there is not going to be loss either. So also we need to know that at break-even point the profit is 0. Having said that, management can use break-even point for certain things before we go into the two methods of the break-even point analysis and margin of safety. Management might want to know what the break-even point is to determine the risk in the budget, especially if we are going into a new project. If we are going into a new project or production line, we may want to know the amount of risk in the budget by comparing our budget volume of sales with the break-even volume. Another thing that management may use that one for, and before I tell us that, please, if you are new, go and subscribe to GJAMES Associate Channel. And if you are old and returning viewer, we say thank you for being in the community. Like this and subscribe to all and share. Also, what management can use break-even analysis for is to identify the minimum volume of sales that must be achieved in order to avoid losses. So when we know where the limit and the list of our production volume or units that we must make to and sell to avoid our loss. If you've been with us, you know we did an example in which we have 70, 80, 90,000 volume of production and sales, and we observed that in the first level of production, which was 70, we made loss. It simply means that that level, if we continue to sell and produce the same, we are not going to break even. It's going to be at loss. And break even is a point at which we do not make profit or loss. So at least every organization must get to that in order to determine whether they want to continue or not. So the break even point, management will require it in order to know the minimum level of sales that must be achieved in order to avoid losses. Every entrepreneur, every business owner is into business to make profits, but we need to know the least we must do not to make loss. So those are the two important management uses for break-even points among so many other things. Before we move on to the two methods of calculating break-even points, I told us that I will tell us two things that I've not been telling us. And the first thing is that some of our notes are for sales. So you could reach out and buy. And from Port Harcourt, we say shout out to Favor for contacting and buying our notes, so you too can buy notes. Having said that, we move on. Shout out to Favor. The second one that I would like you to do for me, which I know we have capacity in GJAMES Associate to do, is that another person from Abuja contacted to do one thing or the other on consultancy level. And you know what? GJAMES Associate channel can do all this and many more for you. We can file your returns. This is time of CAC filing. We can do your tax filing too. We can be your tax consultant. We can do all this for you. Your bookkeeping, I have a team of people that could do this for you. So reach out. On the description below, we have gjames.associates@yahoo.com. You can reach us, and also the WhatsApp line is there. We move on. So I just told you what I've not been telling you, and henceforth I will be telling you. I want to believe you love it and you know that we have capacity to deliver. So I have a group and a team here that could do all that for you. Please, even as we continue in dishing out our training as one of the arm of the organization. Now, the two methods for break-even calculation. The first method is break-even points as expressed in form of number of units. And the second method is break-even point expressed as revenue volume, that is sales revenue. And we are going to look at the two methods and how to calculate them. Last, that we need to discuss as we introduce ourselves to how to calculate break-even points is the margin of safety. Margin of safety. What is margin of safety? Is the difference between the budgeted sales and the break-even amount of sales. Margin of safety is the point at which the difference between budgeted sales are made and the break-even points could be observed. That is the margin of safety. So it's the difference between the budgeted sales and the break-even amount of sales. Usually it is expressed in percentage. Usually margin of safety is expressed in percentages. And if you look at the charts on the dashboard, when you click this video, you will see that chart, and we are going to express all this in calculation. Also, don't forget that it is usually expressed in percentage. However, it may equally be measured in quantity of units or amount of sales. Now we are going to go into the calculation of break-even analysis and break-even points. Of course, determining our margin of safety. Next video you are going to see will be that of the calculation, having introduced ourselves to the basics of the theoretical aspect of it. Like this video so that it can reach to many people that need to have it and understand. Equally, help us to subscribe and grow the channel by clicking all notifications. Share. Comment if there are any topic you want us to talk about, and don't forget on the business side of things to reach out to GJAMES Associates for consultancy. GJAMES Associates, we are value to life, we are value to your businesses. So I see you calculating break-even point.